All right, we are live. So welcome back to Dapp University. So we got a lot to talk about in our live stream today. I'm talking about one of the craziest things that I've ever seen in crypto, which is basically what's happened in the last 24 hours. Okay, we're gonna rank this, I'm gonna say, in a top 10 moment for my entire career that I've been in crypto for over 5 years now. Everything you need to know about this because it's having a big impact on the markets. We're gonna answer some of your questions, look at a lot of updates that have happened in the space since our live stream did yesterday. Again, we do these live streams Monday through Friday. Just turn on notifications, subscribe. You're gonna find out about those whenever we go live. So before we get into that, if you're around here, hey, I'm Gregory. On this channel, I turn you into a blockchain master. So if that's something you're interested in, then smash that like button down below for the YouTube algorithm and subscribe to this channel. And if you want to learn how to master blockchain step by step start to finish, then head on over to dappuniversity.com/bootcamp to get started today. So we got people jumping in the chat here. We got Culture Highs, Technically, Code Chap, David Stone, Above Realty, Sarthak, Tebo, Anthony, Oscar, Matthew. Welcome. All right, so within the past 24 hours is one of the craziest things that I've ever seen in crypto. I've seen a lot of crazy stuff and watching this space pretty much every day for over 5 years now. And that's the continuing saga, or maybe the end of the saga, I should say, that we started watching on the streams yesterday with Terra and the UST stablecoin, and then how the rest of the entire crypto market that looks like it's just absolutely imploding right now, because these things are somewhat linked. Okay, but let's just take a look at this and kind of pull up some details on the charts here. So Terra stablecoin. Yeah, so first of all, UST is the stablecoin that has lost its peg on the Terra ecosystem, that has absolutely just blown up. Okay, we essentially have seen something similar to a bank run where this algorithmic stablecoin has just totally lost control. It's put a ton of sell pressure across the entire market. It's one of the big reasons that crypto is in the tank right now. Okay, of course the macro factors are the biggest factor here, but we saw Bitcoin dip back down below $30,000, into the high 20s within the past several hours. And I think some of that's got to the sell pressure that's going on with UST. So, basically, we had a stable coin that just absolutely just dropped. Okay, we got down to the 20-ish cent range. Okay, it doesn't really show the lows, but I've seen charts where we're down in the 20s. And then basically the accompanying crypto, Terra, and the ecosystem has got absolutely decimated. And, I want to be sensitive to all the Terra holders out there. I mean, I was not holding any Terra or UST. Okay, I'm not I hope everybody's okay. I mean, this is a pretty insane loss because, Terra went from $116 to $4.46. And we're talking the most of that drop happened within, just a few days. Okay, we're talking in the 90th percentile drop. Okay, so down to a $3 billion market cap. We were in, a $40 million market cap. If you look at fully diluted valuation, okay, even higher than that, close to $100 million, then now down to and then now down to about this much. I said million, I meant billion. Okay, so that's an absolutely insane. That's so much money just erased from the crypto ecosystem. So definitely one of the craziest things that I've seen happen in crypto. The outcome of this is basically, it sounds like they're just giving up on the UST project. So I don't know what that's going to mean for the entire Terra ecosystem. Okay, I don't know what that's going to mean for all the other projects that are associated with this. It doesn't look good in the short term. Okay, they talked about, trying to rebuild all this type of stuff and move away from an algorithmic stablecoin to more of a collateralized stablecoin. I don't know if that's really going to do anything, right? It sounds like, I don't know. I'm not trying to comment on the PR here or anything like that, but it doesn't seem like there's a bright future ahead for this project, and that's having ripple effects across the entire space. Okay, So, we're seeing, the entire market get drugged down with everything that's happening here. Again, I'm not saying that the Terra, fiasco is the sole reason that crypto is getting hit hard right now, but it is a factor. Okay. Of course, we have what's going on with the macro headwinds that everybody's facing with the inflation numbers. That's a big reason we saw some of the dip, I believe, down below $30,000 this morning. I'll talk about that here in a minute. But we're definitely seeing this have an additional compounding effect on the headwind that's already facing everybody else with the crypto markets, because there's two big factors. One is it just, when it looks like the entire crypto space is melting down, and you have a major project that's doing this, that makes people want to get out, all right, because it has second order effects, right? After this, goes down, we're going to see regulators come into this space and absolutely, go after stable coins even harder. Stable coins are one of the things that have been firmly in the crosshairs of regulators. We've already seen Janet Yellen talk about UST, all right, make verbal mention of it. Okay, so it's on their radar, and that's going to be that's definitely going to be a prime piece of evidence that's used to double down on crypto regulations for stable coins themselves. So that's the second order effect you have to understand. A lot of people want to just act like they don't know anybody in crypto anymore after this type of stuff happens. It really reduces confidence in the space. And then the other factor in this is the sell pressure that's happening from trying to save this algorithmic stablecoin. Okay, all these assets being sold, putting sell pressure on stuff like Bitcoin, anything that was collateralized. Of course, we saw that with the Terra price as well. One of the craziest things I've ever seen. Now, of course, we've been talking about other algorithmic stablecoins in the past. We've seen Titan Finance. Okay. We've seen other projects that have absolutely blown up like this, but nothing to the magnitude of the UST stablecoin. I mean, we're talking about Terra was up here. I can't remember what position it was. Terra and UST, I think they were both in the top 10 at one point. I wasn't tracking it too much, but you have to understand the market cap was massive and it just got completely erased. Titan Finance was an algorithmic stablecoin, but it was still pretty small compared to what just happened. Okay, we're talking insane amounts of money. And for that reason, that's why I put it up there as one of the craziest things that's happened that I've seen ever in crypto in over 5 years. Okay, and how that's having an impact on the broader market. So let me know what y'all think in the comment section below. Were you holding any Terra? Were you holding any UST? Were you able to get out? Again, I want to express concern for everybody who's affected by this. But we have to learn valuable lessons from this. And there's a couple that we can talk about for sure. Somebody says just holding USDT. So what are some valuable lessons from this? So number one is I don't think anybody's chomping at the bit to get into algorithmic stablecoins anytime soon, especially not after this, okay? You're probably going to have somebody in the future that's like, hey, guys, this time is different. We've figured out this brilliant idea. But I think you're going to have a lot of people live through this. They're like, sound the alarm and try to get people out before things blow up like they did here, because it's probably going to happen again. I mean, it's really hard to find something that's going to work. Because if history is any indication, I don't have high hopes for it. So collateralized stablecoins definitely being a better option. It's been working so far. The other thing is I want to talk about more the technical, aspect of this in terms of picking technology, because, Terra is a platform for people to build applications on. And so, one of the reasons I focus on the technology that I do on this channel, and just in my own career, is going where there's a ton of demand and history, right? I, primarily work on EVM-based technologies like Ethereum and Solidity, okay? And that has a ton of real benefit to it because Ethereum has been around for a very long time, okay? In turn relative to crypto, right? I've been working with ETH for over 5 years now. So you got that. You've got Solidity. It's gone through all these ups and downs, all this crazy stuff with the Ethereum ecosystem. Okay. You've got, and then you have to add a benefit of taking those learnings and applying them to all these other layer one blockchains and also layer twos that are trying to gain footing. You don't know which ones are going to work out long term. But Terra is a pretty different model, okay? And I don't know what the long-term future of Terra is totally going to be, okay? But, like, when you're talking about investing money versus investing your time and your skills, like, if you invest a little bit of money in some crypto that doesn't work out, that's a risky bet, and, you just lose that money, or maybe you're able to, cut your losses in some way. But when you invest your time and your skills into something, and you work on it for a very long time, and then you can't recoup that time, like you just go learn something, and then the technology just becomes absolutely irrelevant and not in demand anymore, like you can't really get that time back. Now, of course, you can take those learnings and go learn something else, and the second time you learn a new skill that's very similar, it's going to take you a fraction of the time. Like, I don't want to say it's totally lost, but the whole point I'm trying to make is, like, when you're talking about doubling down your skills on a really good solid bet, it helps to, bet on things that have a strong history and look like they have a good trajectory. And that's one of the reasons I primarily focus on Ethereum-based technologies, because you can also use that on other EVM-compatible chains, layer twos, all type of stuff. But, like, when you're talking about something else that's, like, brand new, it's having some trouble, the future of those things is a little less certain. Okay, so again, trying to be super, like, not trying to shame anybody who's gone down that rabbit hole. I feel really concerned for anybody who is part of the Terra thing here. Hopefully there can be some future, but this is, like, part of this is a lesson in how should you invest your time and your effort in the future. So somebody says, this is big money setting up to sweep the market on discount like big money always has done since the early 1900s. Somebody says, Ape is totally undervalued. Somebody says, yeah, UST and Luna is too scary to invest in after this wipeout. I think a lot of people are thinking that. Because you have to understand that, like, a lot of stuff, in the last massive crypto winter from 2018 to 2019 that I was a part of the entire time, a lot of that stuff, some of the new stuff never recovered to its prior all-time highs. So you have to understand that. And that's one of the reasons I've really doubled down on stuff that has to that test of time, that has a strong future. You might have less upside potential on some of that stuff, but the downside risk is complete, not completely mitigated. It's way less, in my opinion. You think about it in terms of risk and reward. Because, if we go, if nobody knows exactly what's going to happen over the next 6 to 12 months, if things get uglier, like, the last thing I want to hold is a brand new project that has never gone through that before. You know what I mean? That doesn't have a certain future. I'm not saying financial advice, I'm not telling anybody to sell anything. I'm not saying that. I'm just talking about my own personal bets and how I think about things. So let's look at a couple of things that are definitely having impact on crypto right now. Of course, we've seen like I was saying before, we've seen, macro factors that are sweeping across the entire economy. You know what I mean? I don't claim to be a macroeconomist, a macroeconomist, a macro expert by any stretch of the imagination. But it doesn't take a genius to see that, like, everybody's, having hard times. Okay, stock market, crypto, inflation, everybody's, like, top of mind. It's like a top of mind political issue. Like, if you go look at the U.S. Midterm elections, like, what are the issues people care about? Like, inflation's, like, at the top of the list. Okay, there's so many things. We're seeing this across the entire board, right? It's not a crypto problem specifically. It's an everything problem. So, one important piece of that puzzle is what's going on with CPI. Okay, so that's basically the Consumer Price Index. So this is how people, how the Federal Reserve likes to measure inflation. Okay, so CPI numbers, broken down like core CPI core. There's a lot of different things, but basically, we have the CPI numbers released as of this morning. Okay, so consumer price index accelerated 8.3% in April, more than the 8.1% estimate, and near the highest level in more than 40 years. Okay, so this was a little bit of an upset. People were hoping to see CPI come in at 8.1%. It came in at 8.3%. We saw markets kind of react negatively to this. Initially, pre-market was down. That's when Bitcoin dropped like instantly down to like $29,000 as soon as the numbers came out. But we've seen some relief here since then. Okay, the Bitcoin price is back above 31. This looks like it's trying to push like 32K, but we did see this this dump here down to about $29,000 flat. So I think a lot of that was, of course, we got the pressure from UST and the Terra, disaster. But I think CPI numbers that were a little bit of an upset were that factor for that really short-term possible liquidation event. So one thing that I don't see a lot of people talking about is the CPI numbers. While they did not meet people's expectations, are still lower than they were before. Okay, so we're seeing like things come down, and so long term that actually could be bullish as a slow sort of trend reversal in inflation, because the real hope here is that inflation peaked in March and is starting to come down, and that the Fed can just like do their rate hikes on schedule, even if they're 50 basis points for the next like 2 or 3 times or whatever it is. And that we can and that hopefully like the worst is behind us. Like that's the hope. Now we don't know. You know what I mean? But if CPI looks like it has peaked in March, then that's a step in the right direction. Okay. Because like I was saying yesterday on the streams, like at some point, like when you see major assets like this down from their all-time highs, you could buy Bitcoin for $30,000, which is about what it was at the summer lows of 2021. There's a lot of smart people who are like, sure, I'll take a 2x return on my money. You know what I mean? The likelihood that it's going to go down 50% from $30,000, historically speaking, is kind of low. Okay, I mean, it could happen, right? I'm not saying it can't happen, but I'm talking about like a risk reward where nobody knows what the future is. You have to just forecast what you think is going to happen. That's starting to become a favorable risk reward scenario. Okay, assuming that it looks like things are going to start turning around for the macro environment. Okay, and as soon as I feel like people have that sort of perception, that confidence, we can start seeing a lot of capital deployed. And crypto can absorb a lot of that really fast because it's such a small market on the grand scheme of things. Now, one thing in particular that I want to talk about here is what's going on with Ether. Like we talked about Bitcoin being, back at its summer lows. ETH is still trading north of its summer lows from last year. Okay, so ETH dipped down. I remember when ETH was hitting maybe like $1,600 on some exchanges last July. And the lowest I've seen in the past week or so is about like $2,200. Okay, maybe a little bit lower than that. And you could say it's not significantly higher than the summer lows from last year, but it hasn't got hit quite as hard as Bitcoin. Now, I think there's lots of reasons for that. I think people are seeing the ETH merge coming up as a potential bullish catalyst. I'm not saying we're just going to like rocket off to infinity with the ETH price, especially just with everything that's going on with the macro headwinds. But I think we're seeing people like, all right, if I'm going to own crypto or like, let's say I already own crypto, what do I want to sell? Well, I feel like the ETH is kind of the bottom of their list because, we're seeing so much long-term potential with that technology. Okay. Lots of adoption, because at the end of the day, that's what my whole bet is on adoption of this technology, particularly around the Ethereum ecosystem. All right, and I think we're seeing some of that play out. Because don't forget, ETH's going to become a productive asset whenever we merge, I mean, it already is, you just can't unstake it. Whenever we merge from ETH 2.0, you're going to be able to earn a passive income reward for staking ETH. That's going to be attractive for a lot of people, especially, you know, yeah, if things get bearish, that's sort of like a consolation prize for holding, you know, for a long time through down times. And also, you know, also the fee burning is very good for the ETH price, assuming the network demand stays the same, which I don't see there any reason for the network demand to just like evaporate. Like if I go to, you know, ultrasound money and I look at the ETH being burned, I simulate the merge. Okay, like even just on the past, like if the merge had already happened, you know, the past hour, if we were going on, you know, ETH transfers, you know, basically the amount of ETH burned, we'd be at minus 6.6% inflationary or 6.6% deflationary on an annualized basis off of the last hour's activity. All right, now that's not probably that's like peak activity, because we're seeing, look how much ETH is getting burned in these blocks, 5 point, you know, all this stuff. Anything north of 2 ETH is a deflationary block. So lots of deflationary blocks, an extra deflationary block. Gas is at 172. Okay, so if you take it across the last 7 days, I mean, we'd still be at minus 1% inflation or 1% deflationary. 30 days, 1.6%, and all 2.1%. Okay, so there's no reason to think that the network demand is just going to like drown out. Maybe even in down times, people are still doing DeFi, people are still doing NFTs, people are still launching new projects. Like the Ethereum ecosystem is still busy. It's still busy. And in some ways, it gets more attractive to use during when the ETH price is low, because even if gas prices go up, then like it still has an equalizing effect on the fees, because transaction fees are going to be cheaper when the Ether itself is cheaper, like, you know, cheaper in USD terms. Somebody says, go full Amish men, be free, otherwise you're a slave in this wicked ancient system. Sometimes it does sound kind of attractive, like never having to look at a computer ever again. Okay, so let's see. So yeah, we're seeing lots of network activity still. Let's see here. Somebody says, so do you believe we're in a bear market? Well, I mean, it's hard to say that like what we're in is not a bear market. Like if you just measure from the peak, right? Like, you know, this to this, it's hard to not call that a bear market. Like in traditional markets, anything like more than a 20% drop is a bear market. Okay, so I mean, we definitely have had over a 20% drop in major cryptos like Bitcoin, Ethereum, and others. Now the real question is are we in a grueling like multi-year crypto winter? Now let's talk about some theories on that. Okay, so first of all, short answer, my initial short nuanced instinct is that we're not in what we saw in 2018 2019. So let's just clear that up. Now let's talk about an even more nuanced answer in terms of like multi-year bear market. So some people want to look at the crypto prices and say that this was sort of like a market cycle top. Okay, so basically like Thursday, April 15th, 2021 is over a year ago. Okay, and so if you look at like technically, if that was the cycle top and this was sort of like a relief rally that just kind of broke the high but didn't really make a new one, if you measure that as a cycle top by other metrics, then we've already been in a bear market, from that view for over a year. Okay. So that, that's spanning over a year technically means multi-year. So does that look like what 2018, 2019 looked like? Not even close. Okay. By 3 months in, we've had everybody just pack up their chips and go home. And that's like, we're not getting that point really till like right now. And so even if you start from here, then, we're basically 6 months in. You know what I mean? So nobody knows for sure what's going to happen. The real question mark is what's gonna go on with the macro scene. But the likelihood that we see Bitcoin draw down, 85% and ETH like 90 something percent like we did last time, it seems pretty unlikely to me. Now, that being said, let's look what happened with, look how crazy this is. Look at Shopify. If you looked at any, some of these major tech valuations, it looks like Terra. You know what I mean? And we're talking about Shopify, a major company with a ton of intrinsic value. It's like an 80% drop. It's absolutely crazy. It's crazy times. Okay, so really quickly, I want to go check on, let me just see here. I want to quickly check on the trends on chain here. So, so basically, I do this pretty much every day, check to see some of the new contracts have been deployed that have significant financial inflows. This is my starting point for research to find new projects, whether it's NFT projects, new tokens, new liquidity pools, all that type of stuff. Yesterday, I found a new project that we talked about on stream. Okay. So anyways, if you want to get access to the research tool, there's a link down below for Blocksite. But yesterday we found a new NFT project. That was pretty crazy. Again, I'm not like trying to shill this NFT or anything. This is just one that I've been keeping my eye on because I thought it was pretty crazy. So it was, I just don't even know how you say it. Is it Babby? Is it Baby? Okay, I did go to the website and was looking at the minting page. So let me just find it. It's pretty crazy. It's like a metaverse game. Let's see here. Let me find it here. It's like the dancing baby screensaver, but you got to see this. Okay, let me pull it up here. Because the game's absolutely crazy. So basically, it's babby.xyz. It's not a sponsored video or anything. Like, I literally found this with my research tool, and I've just been going down the rabbit hole. I'm not trying to shill this or anything. I think it's awesome. So it's like a metaverse game. You click to play. Let me just put my screen over so you can see everything. Hopefully this doesn't crash my computer with the thing. But you can see. So you won't regret this. It's awesome. You can go inside. Open door. And so you're going into the Babby metaverse here. Like I said, if somebody knows how to pronounce it, let me know in the screenshot below. But you're in this dungeon, okay, and it's got all this like crypto stuff in it. Like you got Mark Zuckerberg in jail. It's awesome. And then you got a little infant training potty. You got these babies. We got the DJ, the dance floor. We got Vitalik on the dance floor. You got Vitalik on the dance floor and Mark Zuckerberg in jail. And they're minting Dapp's pretty crazy. Like if you want to connect your MetaMask, like you have to go up to this wallet and then like click it, and then your MetaMask wallet will pop up, and then like once it's there, I think you have to connect it before you see. Yeah, here's like the minting portal, but you have to like connect it. Let me just let me connect mine. Hold on. All right, so basically, like once you connect it, let's see, you can like go in here and then like do your minting. It's pretty crazy. It's definitely one of the more creative like NFT metaverse projects that I've seen. So, anyways, again, I don't know. This is one of those kind of early mysterious projects. It reminds me of like the Based project. If you all saw that last year, it was actually 2 years ago now. It's early times. So there's lots of mysterious stuff about what's going on here. Definitely don't know what's going to happen with this project, but I thought it was super creative. But yeah, so basically I found the NFT here on BlockSite on the trending contracts page. That's what I check on a daily basis. It's my starting point for research, finding new projects before they kind of blow up and get on people's radars. Because if you're watching social media, you are behind. Now, of course, I'm talking about it on social media, but if you want access before I do that, then check out the link down below. So it says Fortnite update is wild. Yeah. So it says centralized, go to jail, decentralized, celebrating. All right, everybody, stay safe out there. It's crazy times right now in crypto. Again, it's one of the top 5 craziest things I've ever seen, maybe top 10. Well, it's hard to say. But as always, smash that like button down below for the YouTube algorithm. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. That really helps these videos out so that more people can learn about blockchain. It's a great time to double down on your skills while the space is quieter than it has been in many months. Okay. There's a ton of opportunity in this space for blockchain developers, people with the right technical skills. So how can you get started? Go to my YouTube homepage, find my free courses there. They're like Udemy courses, but they're totally free. And if you like those and you want to take the next step, or hey, maybe you want to take a master's shortcut entirely, I can show you I'm a blockchain master step-by-step start to finish over at dappuniversity.com/bootcamp. You don't have to be an expert to get started today. I've helped people with zero coding experience become real-world blockchain developers in a matter of months. So that's all I've got. Until next time, thanks for watching.